Get to Bogatan. What happened?
I saved your life.
In my heart. What happened?
I saved your life.
The Mandalorian falls off a cliff this week and goes from, at most, a half-decent show to a full-on video game, cutscenes, badly written joke. Disney's Lucasfilm has decided, instead of going with the show don't tell, has decided to just explain the story to the idiot viewers.
The mines should be further down. I guess we're on our own from here.
Now, a lot of the people defending this show online keep saying that no one can give them an example of this bad writing they keep hearing about, as if it's possible to teach the difference between good writing and bad writing to a simpleton in a 280-character tweet. Well, Mando's episode 2 of season 3 gave us some very good examples of bad writing, where Lucasfilm have decided to ignore the old writing technique of show don't tell, and they've just decided to go with don't show, just tell.
Maybe I didn't make myself clear the last time.
We start with one of the most annoying characters to ever grace our TV screens. One of the most annoying characters of any show ever. I'm not lying when I say I'd rather Mando dropped in to see Jar Jar Binks ahead of this Java molesting Disney tour park guide weirdo.
Hey, look, everyone, it's Mando!
But for some reason, we're just going to keep on visiting her. In a world where limbs and hands are replaced, how hard would it be to whack a tooth back in? Mando's turn of becoming a complete idiot continues here when Scarecrow convinces Mando to buy a mech droid who he's going to take all the way to another planet, filling the only second seat he has on that tiny ship just to check the air quality. Yes, the spaceship flying universe doesn't have anything handheld to just check if the air's okay. Mando should have gone to Amazon.
I'll pressurize my helmet.
The fact that Mando can seal his helmet should negate any need for lugging the huge mech droid to another planet. But as we'll see this Writing for More on show, we need that droid along for the trip so he can save the day later on.
May the Force be with you!
Seeing as the Jedi and the Mandalorians were former enemies, wouldn't shouting, "May the Force be with you," be like shouting an insult to him? So Mando's on his way to check out the old Mandalorian planet so he can finish his boring quest to rejoin his stupid, smelly, occasionally take that helmet off idiot's cult. The reason he's going on this quest is because the producers want to reset the whole series so we can repeat all the same ideas. Grogu's back, the helmet's back on. It's really like season 2 never even happened.
This scene means jack shit.
And that's Kalevala, where we visited Bogatan. A Mandalorian has to understand maps and know their way around.
Yes, I imagine most adventurers flying through space need to know how to read maps and navigate.
Shut him up or shut him down.
My local bus driver also has those skills. Not that I get to enjoy them anymore, as the bus company banned me after the incident. But I really did think pants were optional.
You got busted.
Except 3 dots don't make up a map, especially the way this map is used later in the episode. And because planet size, distance and scale mean nothing in Star Wars anymore, Mando lands exactly where the magical underground lakes are. That's quite lucky, seeing he's never been to the planet before.
And you know what? I've never been there either.
Mando then instantly sends the R5 unit off to its doom. The tech droid was never the most practical design for a land-bound adventure, but R2 usually wound up in the wrong place at the wrong time. Mando literally asked for a droid to go splunking. That's a fun word to say.
I need a droid that's rated for spelunking.
Splunking is cave exploration. Poor R5 didn't stand a chance.
Seal yourself in your pod.
Where do they keep Grogu's rather large pod? While searching for the droid, Mando is attacked by the Morlocks from H.G. Wells' The Time Machine. The scary race of evolved monsters that lives beneath the surface, in caves, just like the ones in the Mando show. Why? Why are these shows just a mess of references to other movies and stories, which are all better movies and stories? Who is this little wink at the audience aimed at? Would it really hurt them to think of something new, something interesting? Anyway, after killing the native Morlocks, and having no idea how many more could live amongst the caves, because there literally could be thousands, as well as many other wild creatures down there, Mando decides to do the right thing and take the precious child with him into the unknown underworld full of monsters nightmare. And this is the f***ing giant elephant in the room. The giant elephant that's killing this show. What is now the point of Baby Yoda? And why does he keep going on every adventure? Well, for one, it helps the writers, who have decided that too dumb isn't dumb enough for the modern Star Wars fan. They have decided to ignore the old writing technique of show don't tell and just go full tell. We literally have Mando just walking around explaining the stories. We go to Grogu. Grogu is just now the stand-in for the modern Star Wars Funko Pop collector. It's ridiculous.
The mines should be further down. These waters should flow down to the mines. Look, that passage heads down.
The idea of show don't tell is taught to new writers to help them learn to set the scene, create atmosphere, and move away from just relaying facts, which is incredibly amateurish and boring. Anton Chekhov once advised, "Don't tell me the moon is shining, show me the glint of light on the broken glass." Anton Chekhov sounds like a man of robot heads, class and style. You see, when writers are just telling, they just write in a factual manner. What they say is brief, and it avoids detail, and in general doesn't stir the heart.
This was once a beautiful civilization. My family ruled it all. Now it's a tomb.
When we get better writing that is more show, it is done in a richer, more expansive way that's not efficient, has a lot of detail, and it tends to place the human subject right at the center of the story, which leads to the story touching us emotionally as humans.
Oh, yes. Gordon Street. I once knew a girl who lived on Gordon Street a long time ago, when I was a young man. Not a day passes I don't think of her. And a promise I made, that one perfect day on Gordon Street. That's 5 blocks up to Oval.
Just quickly, let me tell you about a fantastic little shopping tool that is 100% free. And that's always free. Not a stupid trial now, but give us some money later. No, this little money saver is 100% free all the time. I'm talking about PayPal Honey. Honey is an awesome little online shopping tool that I've been using for years that saves me money every time I go shopping. All you do is add Honey to your browser, and whenever you go looking for that special little item, you just click on it, and Honey will quickly search through thousands of vouchers to make sure you are getting the best price. That's it. Just click and save. And did I mention Honey is totally free? I saved $80 on this steering wheel alone, all by using Honey, and it looks magnificent. You can save on clothes, electronics, video games, even food delivery. But before you race off to get Honey, help support the Robot Head channel by using my custom link. This will let Honey know that they should help Robot Head more often and sponsor more videos, which is good for everyone. Go to joinhoney.com/robothead and get Honey for free. Then you can start getting the best price from thousands of the most popular stores online. You'll be so happy you did it. And so will I. Go on, go get Honey today. As a stark example of this terrible writing, we have Bogatan tell Mando about her past life in the royal family. A story that should be a mixture of tragedy, happiness, and drama. But what do we get? Just a list of facts. It has absolutely no feel or emotion.
I was part of the royal family. I took the creed and was showered with gifts.
We have no idea of what that world looked like. The image painted in the viewer's mind from her words is that of a blank room.
Maybe he was proud.
I know he was. I didn't embarrass him in front of everyone. He was a great man. He died defending Mandalore.
It's comical that Mando says her father sounds interesting.
Your father sounds like an interesting man.
Nothing in that scene made him sound interesting. He didn't get embarrassed. He was great, and he died.
He was a great man. He died defending Mandalore.
Apparently he was a great man, but we don't get any examples of it. And he died. What an incredible visual picture she just painted for us. This horrible script is just all tell.
This area looks much older.
The mines have been here for thousands of years. The living waters are in the chambers below.
Have you been there?
Yes.
Now compare that to a great example of show, when in an ad-lib scene we have Roy from Blade Runner describing his past life. But what makes this scene interesting and makes it really stand out is we have no idea about any of the things Roy is referencing, but just with his choice of words and the emotion put into it, we know exactly what he's saying. And that's why it's a magical scene.
I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the 10-house gate. All those moments will be lost in time.
Thank you.
What about Maximus reminiscing about the life he is missing?
Can they hear you?
Oh, yes.
What do you say to them?
I tell him I will see him again soon. To keep his heels down when he's riding his horse. To my wife. That is not your business.
There's no, I have wife, I have child, I want home.
He was a great man. He died defending Mandalore.
Your father sounds like an interesting man.
Or if you need a father-dying comparison, go to one of my favourites. Kate from Gremlins telling the tale of her father dying at Christmas time.
It was Christmas Eve. I was 9 years old. Me and Mom were decorating the tree, waiting for Dad to come home from work. A couple hours went by. Dad wasn't home. So the police began a search. 4 or 5 days went by. Neither one of us could eat or sleep. It was snowing outside. The house was freezing. And that's when I noticed the smell. Firemen came, broke through the chimney top, and me and Mom were expecting them to pull out the dead cat, and instead they pulled out my father. He was dressed in a Santa Claus suit. His arm was loaded with presents. He slipped and broke his neck. Died instantly.
Thank you.
Man, 80s kids films were the best. Nothing's off limits. And no Disney Defender. This has nothing to do with the Mandalorians being this weird, strict cult. The show we are looking for has nothing to do with the character's personality. It has everything to do with the writing and the delivery. All we get from Bogatan in this great script is a bad video game cutscene where she just states, "He was great, he died."
Your father sounds like an interesting man.
He was a great man. He died defending Mandalore. Yeah, a bit of a weird story. During the Great Battle, he died when his jetpack went off and his head got stuck up in Mathoras's ass. He could have just taken his helmet off to be freed, but you know the rules about that. We're not taking those helmets off. He spent 3 weeks up there before he died of starvation. I kept his helmet to remember him. Never could get the smell out.
I would have liked to have known him.
And as the Mandalorian show is a visual medium, the show don't tell can be taken to a literal show don't tell by literally just showing us what is happening. But no, one of the biggest production companies in the world, who spends millions of dollars making these shows look incredibly cinematic, have chosen to place a puppet baby alien in the show so Mando can explain to the soft, delicate new Star Wars fans at home what the hell is going on, which might be acceptable if the show was somewhat complex, but it's frighteningly simple.
Look, that passage heads down.
So Mando and the subtitle machine are heading down to the dirty bathwater when Mando enters a new level on the Xbox Mando game and comes up against another enemy boss. One straight out of City of the Lost Children. The Mandalorian show sure has had its share of cave monsters. We seem to get one every couple of episodes. The creature monster thing is pretty cool. It's like General Grievous's deadbeat crack cousin. But any enjoyment from seeing something that's actually new in Star Wars is short-lived as we enter the next level of the game where Grogu is sent to go get help for Mando.
Get to Bogatan.
Just like Lassie used to be. The Australian version of Lassie was Skippy. Skippy the bush kangaroo. Skippy was amazing at going to get help. But Skippy only had to hop a couple of miles avoiding snakes to go get help. Grogu? Well, Grogu has to get back to the ship. Point to the map with 3 dots to the mech droid. The mech droid then has to fly to another planet, or moon, whatever it is, which surely takes some time. The mech droid then has to search the whole planet to find Bo-Katan's castle, as the mech droid has never been there before. And I'm pretty sure the idiot baby can only point to the dot on the screen. They then have to hope Bo-Katan is home, which of course she is, because all she does is sit on that big chair. We can't think of anywhere else she could be for a scene. And when they get there, boy, is she mad. She marches out there to give Mando a piece of her mind with the same enthusiasm as a mum checking if the bins have been collected. Bo-Katan then has to download the mech droid's brain to get the last known place of Mando.
Download the astromech, find out where they were.
She then has to fire up her ship, fly back across the vast journey to another planet, land, get Grogu to direct her through the monster cave, fight off some Murlocs, which, to be honest, Bo-Katan is a lot more fun to watch fighting than Mando. Would have been a good idea if the Mando show had ended at the end of season 2 and then it just turned into the Bo-Katan show, with Mando doing the odd guest appearance. But, you know, that takes imagination. But anyway, Bo-Katan has to do all that, which I'm guessing would be at a minimum a couple of days. She has to do all that and get back to Mando, all before the robot creature that captured Mando crosses the bloody room. It's so ridiculous. The stupid relationship that Star Wars now has between time and distance started with J.J. Abrams and The Force Awakens, and we have seen it infect every movie and show since. It's so bloody lazy and stupid, but, you know, this is modern Star Wars. Bo-Katan kills the creature and saves Mando's life for the first time in this episode.
I saved your life.
While also, what I would have thought, claiming the Darksaber. But apparently that doesn't count. Just like how Mando won the Darksaber in combat, and so should rightfully be the Mandalorian leader, but
you are a Mandalorian, no more.
The rules change from week to week in this show, so stop thinking, you bloody elitist.
Do you think your dad was the only Mandalorian? Your kid.
Why do people keep referring to Grogu as the child kid and Mando as Grogu's dad? I've got 2 cats and people don't think they are my children. I mean, we do wash ourselves the same way, but no one gets that confused.
Get to Bogatan. How did you find me?
Your kid. He's quite the navigator.
It feels like an AI program's writing this show, except an AI program would be able to follow its own story better.
It must pain you to see it like this after witnessing its beauty.
What pains me is seeing our own kind fight one another time and time again, killing each other for reasons too confusing to explain. It made us weak.
Killing each other for reasons too confusing to explain. Writing. World-class writing.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Yes, it's as if the spirit of JJ is alive and well in this show. Remember, kids, show don't tell. And if you do just decide to tell out of lack of talent, at the very least, try and come up with something that's just slightly better than nothing.
Where'd you get that?
A good question. For another time.
Another story, another time, another place.
We then get an amazing scene of Mando walking into the lake with the same amount of awareness as the tourists at Bondi that have to get constantly saved by the lifeguards because they've never seen a wave before.
In my heart.
What a moron! Mando doesn't even understand how weight works. But luckily Bogatan is again there to rescue our idiot star, and for the second time in this episode. Watch out for the Mathorus's asshole. Yes, just in this episode, it's nearly the second time he's died. And he wasn't even doing anything heroic. He just walked into certain death twice, just trying to get to the bath. Grogu should definitely ask Bo-Katan to adopt him, as Mando isn't fit to look after anyone. Maybe he should go back to Luke. Mando's a bloody danger to himself.
Get to Bogatan. What happened?
I saved your life.
In my heart. What happened?
I saved your life.
But I'm sure the next episode will be much, much better.
Yellow travel biscuits. Yellow travel biscuits. Yellow travel biscuits.
Where do you think I got the biscuits?
Yellow travel biscuits.
Oh no.